Alright, in this video we're going to talk about the laws of stratigraphy. The first two laws of stratigraphy are the law of superposition and the law of horizontality. You're pretty familiar with superposition at this point. But the law of horizontality says that the layers are deposited horizontally. So this is horizontal, this is vertical. So basketball players measure their vertical, that's jumping straight up. Horizontal is this way. Rocks are always deposited horizontally in nice flat layers. So here, M, R, D, Q, M's your oldest, Q is your youngest. Next, we have intrusions. And an intrusion is where magma cuts through the layers. And then this leads us to cross-cutting relations, or the law of cross-cutting relations. And it says what is crossed is older. And we looked at this a little bit in the stratigraphy worksheet where the homeowners had dug the well. You have to have rock layers there to begin with in order to dig through it. So here we have layers V, T, S, and P. Well, P is our intrusion, and it cuts through S, T, and V. If it cuts through them, that means it is the youngest rock layer because it cuts through all of them. So to put them in order, we would say S because it's at the bottom, T, V, and then P because P cuts through them. Next, we have folding. And folding occurs mostly from compressional forces. So compressional means forces are coming together like this. So if we take a piece of paper, our rock layers originally are deposited horizontally like this. Then as tectonic plates or plate tectonics occurs, they start to fold. And the more compression there is, the more folding there's going to be. And that's what we see here. So we see these little waves. These are not deposited on hills. They are not deposited in valleys or on mountains. They are deposited horizontally because of the law of horizontality, and that's the way nature works. Then they are compressed together to form these nice waves. So here you would say layer A, Z, X, Y were deposited. Then there was a folding event, so some sort of earthquake or something caused them to fold but not actually break apart and fall. So write them out, A, Z, X, Y, and then you write out the word fold. Next, we have faults. And a fault is evidence of earthquakes, and they realign layers. So in this one we have B, G, and E. E, G, B, but then we have A on the top here. And so what's happened here is that this rock layer has come down and this rock layer has moved up. So B and B are connected, G and G are connected, E and E are connected, but they've been offset like this. So if you think about it, here are your rock layers and they've just been shifted up one. So A is above B, so if you were to go above here, you would expect to find A. So to write it out, again, law of superposition, the bottom is the oldest, and then you're also going to use cross-cutting because this fault crosses through and cuts all of the other layers. So it's E, G, B, A, fault. E, G, B, A, fault. All right. In this next one, you just need to copy down the picture. So here it is. So again, you're using law of superposition and cross-cutting relations. So law of superposition says TBW, but then you have this Z. This is also an intrusion. The first one we looked at was a nice, flat layer, and this is more of a blob, and you're going to see it both ways, but they're the same thing. So this is an intrusion. So TBW, Z, because Z crosses and cuts these other layers. So that was the next thing to come. It does not cross or cut J. So therefore J is younger than Z. So J, M. And here it is again. T, B, W, Z, J, M. Alright, last one. Here it is. H, C, R, V, X, a W, and remember this diagonal line again is your fault. So take a second, copy it down, and then try to put them in order on your own. So here we go. Law of superposition says the oldest is on bottom. So we go V, R, C. Now we have this intrusion that cuts through our layers. So then we know that X occurred next. Then it does not cross into F. So the intrusion is older than F, and we have a fault that cuts everything. So we go VRC, X, then F, then we have our fault because the fault cuts through all of this below us, and then H has been undisturbed at the top. And so here's the sequence: VRC, X, F, fault, H. And that covers it for stratigraphy.